Happy Flex Friday to everybody out there. I appreciate you joining me. My name's CJ Curry. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 23,000 subscribers. It's a completely free thing for you to hit the subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, think about hitting that like button for me as well. Well, let's set today's goal at more than 149.5 likes, meaning we need you guys, you viewers out there, to hit the like button at least 150 times for us to hit our goal. And as I did yesterday, I'm going to try and do again today, try to help you guys with these picks as a big thank you. In yesterday's video, we went 3-0. So if you tailed yesterday's picks, we swept the board. So congratulations if you took any of the picks from yesterday's video. That puts us on like an 11-2 run over our last few videos. You know, my goal is always to strive for quality over quantity. And so we've been doing that lately. Let's see if we could do it again today. Appreciate all the love and support. So let's take a look at today's PrizePicks plays. First and foremost, if you're not playing on PrizePicks is still doing a 100% instant deposit match. So if you put in any money for the first time on PrizePicks, use code Curry. They're going to match you dollar for dollar for every dollar that you put in, all the way up to $100. Meaning if you put in $100, they're going to give you $100, and you're going to have $200 to start your PrizePicks journey. I've left a special link for you down in the description below. And also down in the description are links to all the different tools that I use in today's video. And yes, a lot of the times there are promo codes, discounts available for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, for Outlier, etc. So definitely check those out while you're down in the description as well. But without further ado, we've got 4 different NBA picks for you. These are all projecting very well, and that's what you want to kind of look for. You want to look for plus EV plays that also have very good projections versus line differential, right? We want to find those props that are projecting well on different NBA player prop projection models that have the biggest gap, the biggest difference versus where the line sits on PrizePicks. And I think I found a few that fit that criteria. Starting with Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. He's at 18.5 points plus rebounds. So if we go take a look at Austin Reeves on our plus EV tool here, this is the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. This belongs in your PrizePicks toolkit. If you're not using it yet, you definitely should be. This is responsible for finding all the picks, plays, and parlays that end up getting bumped up and bumped down on the PrizePicks board. Some of these picks even get taken down from the board. So if you want to get in on the picks before they move or before they get removed, this tool right here will definitely help you do that. Save 25% on your first month when you use code Curry. Austin Reeves, points and rebounds at 18.5, 52.1% chance that he's going over tonight. Now, that is not a 100% chance. It's a 52% chance, which means there's still about a 48% chance that this pick could possibly fail. But I like what I'm seeing here. If we look at the sports books, most of them have him at 18.5, but one in particular that I always kind of look at is FanDuel. The reason I look at FanDuel is because they are typically a first mover in the player prop market. What I mean by first mover is they're typically the ones that will start to move their lines up, move their lines down, and they kind of get ahead of the game in that way. So don't be surprised if you see DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesars join in the mix here with FanDuel and move him up to 19.5 points and rebounds before it's over. So we know it's a plus EV play. Moving on to the projections here for Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, 18.5 points and rebounds, projecting for more than 22 points and rebounds. This is RotoWire. Link for RotoWire down in the description. 2-day all access free pass. No credit card required. Check out RotoWire. It's a nice little tool here if you're into player prop projections. But yeah, love the projection here. 22 points and rebounds for Austin Reeves against Memphis. But I don't stop there. I like to check multiple projection models. If you have access to multiple projection sources or models or projections of any kind, I mean, I would recommend using as many as you can. But this one right here, 20.9 points and rebounds. Let's call it 21. So he's projected for 21 points and rebounds. Another fantastic projection for Austin Reeves and his PR. And last but not least, we take a quick peek over on Outlier. You can kind of see the last 20 games Austin Reeves has played, along the likes of Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, D'Angelo Russell. He's actually hitting at a pretty nice clip, 60% hit rate and gone over in 12 out of his last 20 games. What's there not to love? If you're into hit rates, this tool right here, Outlier, fantastic for not only looking at hit rates, but they've also just added some other plus EV features into their app. You take a look at the matchup. You got matchup information here. Overall, the Memphis Grizzlies giving up a good amount of points, 11th ranked, but the rebounds is where they really struggle. 29th ranked in terms of rebounds allowed. And so the matchup's pretty good here. The hit rates, 60% or better, usually leads to some cheddar. And so we're going to go ahead and lean to the over or more on Austin Reeves' points and rebounds. Moving on to our second pick, Jaylen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Thunder still jockeying for position there in the Western Conference. They're sitting at close to the top, but they could finish anywhere as high as, the number one overall team in the Western Conference if they take these last couple of games serious. But tonight they're going up against Milwaukee. Not an easy matchup typically, but no Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Bucks, which makes Jaylen Williams maybe a little bit more favorable. Maybe this is an easier time for him. He's at 21.5 points and assists. So we go back over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We plug in Jaylen Williams' name. And you can see that when we do that, the top play, the most optimal way to play Jaylen Williams right now is the points and assists over at 21.5. About a 52.2% chance that he goes over this number. Now, taking a look at all these different sports books, most of them have him at 22.5. Now, our friends over at FanDuel still have him at 21.5. Maybe they're just lagging behind on this one. Maybe they end up bumping him up to 22.5. But it's good to see that most of these sports books have him at 22.5. So we are getting a point of value on PrizePicks. He is a point lower at just 21.5 on PrizePicks. It's the projections for me. All right, it's always the projections for me. Let's take a look at those because they're really shining today pretty brightly here for Jaylen Williams. Projected for 23.4 points and assists. That's nearly 2 whole points and assists higher than his line of 21.5. And so we like to see those types of projection versus line differentials. And so this one looks like a pretty nice value. Taking a look at a second projection. Back over to Action Labs we go. Let's just simply punch in Jaylen Williams' name, and you can see that he is projected for a whopping 24.4 points and assists. Again, the line 21.5 right now on PrizePicks, and so there's a lot of value here. Just taking a quick glimpse at the hit rates, 75% hit rate over his last 20 games, going over in 15 out of the last 20. This is games that he's played alongside of Lou Dort, SGA, Chet Holmgren, and Josh Giddey. So he's done a pretty good job when playing alongside of those fellow teammates at clearing this number. As far as points allowed go, the Milwaukee Bucks rank 21 in total points allowed, and they rank 12th in assists allowed. So we got to hope that he's out there getting some buckets today for us on this Oklahoma City Thunder squad. So that would be a more lean for me. Moving on to our last two picks, we got two big men that are also battling it out at the top of the Western Conference, starting with Rudy Gobert at 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Still no Karl Anthony Towns, although we just got news. We got word that Karl Anthony Towns will be making his return to the Minnesota Timberwolves pretty darn soon from what it sounds like, but no Cat tonight. So it's going to be Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid holding down the fort against the Atlanta Hawks in this game. 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Going back over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, rinse and repeat. I like to show my work. I like to show how I end up on these picks. Now, this one in particular, not the most plus EV pick out there, but that's okay because it does have great projections behind it. I'll show you those in just a minute, but about a 50.5% chance that he goes over this number. Like I said, not the best as far as plus EV plays, but it is still slightly EV. They think he's going to go under at 28.5. It's almost a coin flip at this point. So let's go take a look at the projections here and why I think this play could be a good one, despite the fact that it's not the most optimal play. Projected for 32.4 points, rebounds, and assists. So they have him going way over the 28.5 marker. What is that? Almost 4 points, rebounds, and assists different than his line tonight of 28.5. And he's been doing a pretty good job of hitting this number in more recent games, especially without Karl Anthony Towns around. So first projection looks really good. Let's just run a second projection just to be double checking and extra certain that RotoWire projection is just not a crazy one. This one Still a really strong projection, I would say. 31 projected points, rebounds, and assists. Again, the number at 28.5. That's where he's at on most sports books and on PrizePicks. So a difference of about, what, 2.5 points, rebounds, and assists still. So we love that. We love that differential projection versus his line. And again, we're going to look at the hit rates. This is Outlier once again. Outlier, they got him at about a 65% hit rate out of his last 20 games. Those are games played alongside of Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, no Karl Anthony Towns, and you got Jade McDaniels in there as well. So really good hit rate. 65% is kind of what you want to see. 60% or better. And again, we should hopefully see some cheddar. So I'd be leaning more on Rudy Gobert in this case. And then that brings us to our very last pick. Nikola Jokic, 27.5 points. Maybe. Or the one that's the more optimal play is going to be the points, rebounds, and assists. So let's take a look at the PRA for Nikola Jokic. The PRA over on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer was looking kind of nice here. Not going to lie. As far as top plays for Nikola Jokic today, the top way to play Nikola Jokic is going to be the over on the PRA at 48.5, a 53.1% chance that he goes over 48.5. And so we're using the data pulled from the sports books, data pulled from these different player prop projection tools to kind of help us guide our decision making, whether we should be going over or under, more or less. And in this case, I think Nikola Jokic looks like a solid choice for more than 48.5 points, rebounds, and assists. But you could also go points, because he's hit the points against the San Antonio Spurs in multiple games this season. So if you're into head-to-head matchups and stuff like that, you could definitely go points here. But taking a look at where he's at, Pinnacle, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, they all got him at 49.5. So the 48.5 just looks a little bit too low. Maybe FanDuel will join the party and they'll get him up to 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists before tip-off. But taking a look at the projections, because this is another one that has amazing projections behind it. Scroll down just a little bit. RotoWire loving some Nikola Jokic today. They've got him projected for 52 points, rebounds, and assists. That's a whole heck of a lot more than 48.5. And you could see that they're leaning more on pretty much everything that relates to Nikola Jokic tonight. So they expect him to come out and smash Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs once again. Let's get you a second projection and get you out of here and on your way so you can enjoy your Friday. The second projection for Jokic, 51.7. So RotoWire not crazy at all with their high projection, because the Action Lab, Fantasy Labs projections, they've also got him at almost 52 projected points, rebounds, and assists. So there you go. As far as the head-to-heads against the San Antonio Spurs, if we take a look at the points, I mentioned those. He's gone over against the San Antonio Spurs in 2 games this season, 31 and 42. 31 and 42 points against Wembanyama and the Spurs in those 2 games. He even hit in 2 games from last season. But as far as the points, rebounds, and assists, which is the one that we have been talking about the most here, you could go to Outlier. One thing that I really like is they have this alt lines feature. So you click alt lines, you go down to 48.5, and then you can kind of get an idea of the hit rates versus San Antonio. He's had 43 and 64 points, rebounds, and assists against San Antonio this season. You can also look at how he's done in the last 20 games. Last 20, not so great, 45% hit rate, but with the competition heating up at the top of the Western Conference, I think that you'll see that the Denver Nuggets aren't going to take their foot off the gas. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they come out and they do their job, and that means Nikola Jokic has a good game tonight against the Spurs. Now, the Spurs are not very good defensively. As far as points allowed to centers, they rank 30th. Rebounds allowed, they rank 28th. And then assists allowed, 11th. So this is a great matchup on paper for Joker. And let's hope he takes advantage. There you go. Those are your 4 plays. What are you guys thinking about these picks? Loving them? Hating them? I mean, I guess you could make an argument that maybe Nikola Jokic is a little scary because of the blowout risk and potential there. So if you wanted to leave any of them off, maybe you leave him off. But I think the other ones look pretty solid. But let me know down in the comment section below if you're liking these, hating these, tailing or not tailing. Choice is yours. But I love to get your feedback, your comments, your questions, your concerns. Try to leave a response on each and every one of those. Thank you so much for being here. Catch you on the next video. Good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. Peace.